I would start with a Platonic dialogue, which is the Republic. Of all the Platonic dialogues, I would definitely say this one is the most relevant, the most important, due to the number of useful reflections and the amount of concepts it elucidates. It's not the biggest book, but it's a book that contains a diversity of subjects addressed with great depth. The dialogues in general have more or less the same structure. In most of them, there is the philosopher Socrates. You know that Socrates never wrote anything. Everything he said was depicted either by Plato or by Xenophon in a work called Memorable Sayings and Deeds of Socrates. In this case, Plato, of course, places Socrates as the main character in his works to reflect not only what Socrates said, but also what he himself thought. In this dialogue, several young people gather at the house of an elder, Cephalus, to discuss the concept of justice. And their excellent concepts are presented. A city is created, which is called the Republic, to understand when the need for justice arises. And within this city, then they will seek who would be the ideal ruler. After that, how would you educate this person to be the ideal ruler? What are the necessary disciplines for the education of someone who will have the responsibility of the city in their hands? What would the lifestyle of these people be like? After that, he begins to conceptualize, or rather, not after, but at the same time as he makes these statements, he starts to conceptualize things like what is good, what is beautiful, what is just. He will talk to us about the virtue of prudence, courage, temperance. He will tell us about forms of government, very detailed about how each one would be. He will give us wonderful myths, such as, for example, the myth of the cave, so famous. It is Book 7 of Plato's Republic. The myth of air, which provides a very interesting vision of what the afterlife would be like in the Platonic view. Finally, if you want to know a little about how Plato thought about music, how he thought about gymnastics, how he thought about the ideal diet, he even talks about that. It's a very comprehensive book with very interesting tips on how to position ourselves in life if we want to achieve a just society and a just human being.